This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Want to feel more creative but don't have the right laptop? Lenovo.com can help. Look through our legendary lineup of AI-powered PCs and devices and find the one that fits your passion. Our PCs powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, as well as cutting-edge AI tools, allow students to focus, learn, and create with ease. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Plus, college students and teachers can get 5% off their order. Shop now on Lenovo.com. The future's waiting, and it needs you.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Bubba Wallace here from 2311 Racing. Funny thing about being fast, you end up waiting a lot. First to show up, first in line, then just waiting. Me, I rev up Chumba Casino. With over 200 social casino games, no slow lanes here. Why sit around when you can spin? I'm already racing. Your turn. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Another show play bumper music for like about 4 minutes, so I just thought I'd give it a try.
Join the party.
Hold on, now I got my headset cord
Tangle up.
It's tangled up, not tangled up in blue, but tangled up in the wheel of the chair.
Oh, that's always fun.
You guys talk.
Hi, Brandon.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing just great, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for asking.
I got it.
Oh, darn it.
I didn't want to
get
back. What if it gets caught in there, goes around my neck, strangles me, and I die. I didn't need that to happen today.
Say nice things about you.
So, 10 meters, the Twins found.
You've always talked about dying with your dead rigor mortis lips attached to that microphone,
right.
So that would be a very fitting death for you.
That would be very much indeed. Did the Twins end up winning that game, or are they still
going on?
Still going. They're up 9-5.
9-5.
Bottom of 7.
Working 9-5.
Lots of offense.
They might actually win a game.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's more frustrating than, celebratory because, Buxton's having a really good year. He's at 2 home runs today, 3 for 5, hitting 280.
Didn't you want to trade him last year or the year before? I thought you did. I could have sworn.
But you finally get a healthy and productive Byron Buxton, and the team just can't move the needle at all. Correa's got a couple of hits today, but he really hasn't done much of anything. Everyone's contributing today. They got 13 hits against, some bad Cincinnati pitching, but the Twins got to finally look like they're going to snap their losing streak, and they come home. Should be a rather festive weekend. It always is when the Brewers come to town. They bring a lot of fans in, obviously, and the weather's going to be steaming hot. And, so the Target Field definitely will be filled this weekend, despite the fact the Twins are kind of spinning their wheels. So, good thing that Brewers are coming to town. It's an automatic draw, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, probably.
It's a border battle is what it is.
It's a border battle. Yeah.
How about the Lakers selling for $10 billion?
Unbelievable.
$10 billion.
It's hard to comprehend that kind of dollar figure attached to any sports team, even if it's in a market and a team as prestigious as the Lakers. I mean, and the guy obviously has been involved with the Dodgers, and it's only in L.A. and not a bad deal for Jeannie Buss. She'll still own at least 15% of the Lakers. That's a kind of a rule if she's going to have a stake in it. So Yeah, this guy, this Mark Walters, got some rather deep pockets, to say the least. He owns the Dodgers and the Lakers. My God. So, yeah, I don't know it's just what kind of changes are going to make. Well, they're going to increase their payroll or decrease it because he spent all the money. I'm talking about the Lakers. Never mind. I'm talking about the Dodgers. But, yeah, it's, maybe they'll build a new arena for him. Who knows? But think about it. Pales and Glenn sold his team for, what, 1.5?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Laurie and A-Rod, which will be done soon.
Think so?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, they'll be in control of the team this upcoming season.
How long from now, though? I mean, we kind of like would have
they have a board. Well, it's true. The NBA Finals are over.
It'd be nice to have them owning the team before the draft starts.
Why?
Don't.
Tim Connolly's in charge of that. They still have a voice in it, but it's not owning the team isn't going to change how they approach the draft. How's that going to approach?
Oh, you don't think owners have given input on draft picks before?
Well, they have, but I think they trust in Tim. We trust, and Finchie.
What about trades?
Any of that?
A Kevin Durant trade would have to be written off by an owner, signed off by an owner.
Yeah.
When the Vikings signed all the free agents, Mark Wilf was made aware of all of it, but he wasn't giving his input on the offensive lineman the Vikings signed.
Not every owner is like Mark Wilf.
Yeah.
Some of them are very hands-on.
Yeah, Mark.
Have you heard of Jerry Jones?
Yeah, Mark.
To a fault. Yeah, that's why the Dallas Cowboys haven't won a playoff game in 30 years. Because Jerry Jones is running that team in all operations. Being a head coach with the Dallas Cowboys is like being their intern.
You can go ahead and make fun of his playoff failures as of late, but I think he's got several.
Of late?
How many big game trophies does he have, and how many does your beloved Vikings have?
We gave them.
How many? Let me just ask you a question.
I don't know, 3 or 4?
Yeah, and how many do your beloved Vikings have?
You don't know the answer to that.
Then what have you done for me
lately?
How about him just ripping the Cowboys like they're some abject failure of a franchise?
Mike Lynn handed them the keys to the franchise.
Well, so what? Then that's a great move by Dallas.
It was. It was like taking candy from a baby when you give him all those draft picks and players.
So now you're calling Mike Lynn a baby? You said taking candy from a baby.
He was incompetent, not a baby. That trade was, and I know, I was at the Metrodome that day when Herschel made his debut, and the place went nuts when he ran out of his shoe, and thought, this is the.
I want to go back and find the sound of you. Did you think that the trade was incompetent, and did you rail against it the day it happened? I guarantee you didn't. You were all over it.
I wasn't on these airwaves then.
No, but TV, you were probably you loved it. You loved it.
Not after talking to Darren Nelson, they didn't. They gave up. I don't think they didn't even realize they'd given up all those players and draft picks. I think they expected more from, obviously, Herschel.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But
what I'm saying is you're being called incompetent because they're trading me, and
it just turned out to be one of the worst trades in the history of sports.
But I would be willing to guess that's because your hindsight. My guess is when you were on with Tommy B on the morning show, you talked about what a great move it was, and the Vikings now have that final piece to get to the big game. I guarantee you said that. Yeah, you did.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you did. That's okay, because I thought the same thing, too. I wasn't in the business. I wasn't in the Twin Cities sports radio business for 4 more years.
I have said a million times, if you were to stop the tape, as they say, and that moment when Herschel ran out of his shoe and the place was going nuts, I guarantee you there's no one in that stadium that was not in favor of that move.
Including you.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. And as time went on, unfortunately, that was the peak moment for Herschel Walker as a Minnesota Viking. His north-south running with Bernsey and everything just did not work out.
Yeah. It didn't. It did not. And but I will tell you this.
No,
I was just a fan at the time. I mean, I was working radio, but I wasn't working sports talk radio. Mm-hmm. I didn't get the fan wasn't even in existence. And it didn't start until I think 91. I didn't get here until 93. But as a fan, when they made the trade for Walker, I was very George Allenish. The future's now. And this team, it seemed the only thing they were missing was a dynamic running back. And Walker was.
He was.
I mean, he was a north-south runner, but he was very good. And when they made that
tremendously strong and fast.
I think everybody was in favor because we thought all we're missing is a dynamic running game. They had a great defense. They had all the other positions were pretty much covered.
I think the thing that was hard to envisioned was not so much the players, Isaac Holt and Howard, and obviously Darren Nelson, who wanted no part of it. It was one thing, usually associated with players, but the sheer number of number one draft picks they gave up was hard to quantify at that point. So it was easy to go, we got Herschel Walker. They got a bunch of draft picks. All those draft picks turned into the kind of players that ended up winning Super Bowls for them.
That's correct.
So, at that moment, it was hard to say how that was going to translate, not knowing how it was going to fall in Dallas's lap. But in hindsight, of course, it turned out to be a disaster.
It was disastrous.
Yeah. How did we get on that?
You were ripping, you were talking about the ownership and owning
all the
teams
Dodgers and trades. They're not involved with the trades. Yeah.
You got any inside dirt on the Vikings that you can pass along to us?
There's really nothing going on right now.
Okay.
Oh, I got some more dish on Durant.
Let's do that.
I just saw.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We'll do some dish on Durant.
11-5 Twins. They just keep adding up runs.
Yeah.
My God.
What about your God? The baseball god? Is that
baseball gods? Yeah.
Let's take a pause and we'll return. He's the legendary Mark Rosen. He's the luxury producer, 10 of E. He's the Josh Oliver of the Fan. And the common man here on FM 100.3, what we've actually affectionately called a fan.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. Well, I don't know about you, but I never liked being told, oh, wow, you look so good for your age. Why even bother saying that? Why don't you just say you look great at any age, every age? That's what Meaningful Beauty is all about. We create products that make you feel confident in your skin at the age you are now.
Meaningful Beauty. Beautiful skin at every age. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Man.
Couple 13-14 past, Common Man, Program on Comedy's 10 and B. Mark Rosen here as well. Time for Peek at the Pros, brought to you by the Minnesota Golf Association. When you join the Minnesota Golf Association, you can receive a handicap index enabling players of all skill levels to compete on an equitable basis. You get access to the best public and private courses at the MGA North Star Series and official state championships for all levels of play. Junior golfers can play for only $5 thanks to the highly successful Youth on Course program Remember, a membership is for everyone, all players and skill levels. Join the 100,000 other Minnesotans taking advantage of a Minnesota Golf Association membership. Get more out of your golf game at mngolf.org/join online. That's mngolf.org/join online. Mark Rosen, you doubted Rory McIlroy. You thought he was done. He'd never win again. He is tied for second.
What?
In the Travelers Tournament. Eckroat has the lead at -8. Tied for second with McIlroy is Wyndham Clark. Apparently, he's gotten over his
busted up the clubhouse.
His temper tantrum.
Yeah.
He took it out on the on a couple of lockers at Oakmont. So he shoots, as I say, what did I just say? Is he 6 under? Yes, he's 6 under, along with Rory McIlroy, Keegan Bradley, and then Cam Young is at -5. So it's a jam-packed.
By the way, Scotty Scheffler 4 under through 6.
Ooh,
so he's on pace for 12 under.
Jeez.
If you extrapolate that out.
So what Scotty is doing is he's lurking.
They're not at Oakmont anymore.
Well, I'm saying it must feel like a pitch and putt for those guys this week.
He's lurking, and this is the last of the, what do they call them? They're not specialty events. The ones, I can't even think of the name. No. They are the ones where just the best of the best are invited, and the purses are much more than just a regular tour event. I think they do 7 of those a year, and this is the very final one. So that's why all the big names, oftentimes after an Open Championship, or a major championship, a lot of the better players say, I'm going to take a week or two off, but they're all there because this is
big purse,
big purse, big prizes, big money. And signature event is what they call them. I'm sorry, signature.
However
event.
You slice it, pardon the pun. McIlroy will still be one of the favorites to win the Open in a few weeks.
You think so?
Oh, of course it will. I mean,
will you take him if you have the first pick?
I don't know. I haven't thought about him getting 1 second thought.
Well, I'm asking
probably.
You now.
I mean, I would.
If you had the number one pick, because I'm assuming
I'd be hard pressed not to take Rory.
I'm assuming Scheffler would be the ghost.
He'll be the ghost, but I don't think I'll have a chance to because I won't be. There's the 3 people, I don't know who they are, who didn't get picked last. I don't know what the thing is. Anyway, they get the first pick. I wouldn't get the first pick. But
so 3 people would get 1, 2, and 3. You might get 4.
Just one of them will get the top pick, and then it goes. Everyone gets back in the.
So if McIlroy is taken, who would you take?
I haven't given it 1 second of thought. I don't know.
Well, maybe if you started thinking ahead of time, you might win the
it really
thing
matters. Yeah, I'm sure.
It's big money. You guys, the amount of money you guys put on the table for these things is astonishing.
And really, not much happened. I mean, Scheffler won the one before, and then last week,
you guys put
I finished high enough that I didn't have to. It was a wash for me with Schauffele. I don't know. I'd probably take. Where are they playing this year? It doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter. They're playing Royal Portsmouth.
Oh, that sounds like a DeChambeau course to me.
Well, it's Rory's home course.
Yeah.
That's where he played much of his stuff, so I'd probably take Rory.
Well,
of course,
I won't have that chance.
That's where you might.
I might. It's possible.
Somebody might not take Rory.
Yeah, it's true.
And then there, of course, is Shane Lowry, who I lost money on, but he won there. He won his only Open Championship, and he did his only major, and he won his at Royal Portsmouth.
Even J.J. Spawn is playing there this week.
Well, yeah, as I said, it's a signature, but they all play it.
Yeah,
every one of them, they wouldn't miss.
He's got a little hangover. He's even par after 6.
It's early though.
I know, but
I don't think he's a hangover kind of a guy.
It doesn't come across that way.
No, the reason Rory had one is because after a decade and a half of chasing a green jacket, he was emotionally spent and still is. He said so. We talked about it. He had this. He said, after a decade and a half, he didn't say it this way, but he's saying, I'm wandering in the wilderness now. What do I want now? Where do I go? Wherever I've had the wine, the women, a song. Where am I going to find the motivation again? Because once you win the career Grand Slam, sure, you can go and try to win again.
Another major.
I mean, how many daytime Emmys did you win, or Emmys did you win? Television Emmys. Hundreds.
I didn't win. No, I did not. I did not win hundreds.
Well, you won a lot.
5 or
and after
6,
a while, once you've had the Emmys and the Pavic, what else is there for Mark Rosen?
This show.
Wow. That's a sad statement on your career.
Rory got a lot of heat for not talking to the media enough too. I mean, that was an item, and he addressed it. He seemed really kind of put off by the whole thing, that he was forced to talk to the media.
No, his reason was he was annoyed that when the driver controversy came out, he was singled out. That's what he was annoyed with. It was like, oh, Rory McIlroy wins the Masters and he's playing with a non-conforming driver. Right. And he was the only one singled out in it. And that's when Scotty Scheffler in his news conference said, I find it humorous because mine's non-conforming too. Yeah. So he was annoyed that
he was singled out.
Yeah, that he was said. It was almost as if the accusation was, oh, the only reason you won at Augusta was because you had a non-conforming, you cheater. And what apparently they don't test every driver for every player every week. They just take a hand. It's sort of like the old steroid testing where they bring a player. You know how they bring the pitcher off the mound and they check to see if he's got a substance? So they would check. They check with Rory. Apparently what they say about these drivers is the more you use them, they actually get more trampoline effect. In other words, they will go a little bit further and then they come out of conformity, if I understand it correctly, and I think I do. And so that was the issue with McIlroy. He was mad about that. He did not like that he was basically singled out for that, and I get that. But then he's following the footsteps of your Morikawa who said, well, I don't owe you guys anything. If I want to talk to the media, I will and I won't. And it's like, well, it's the fans like to hear from you. You're a two-time champ. Part of
it's part of your obligation.
Well, because the fan base wants to hear. I guess you don't have to say anything. I don't know if PGA players are, if being a member of the PGA Tour, if you are obligated to do a news conferences, maybe not, because some are skipping them. Maybe they're getting fined behind the scenes. We don't know. I mean, you probably know this better than I do. I would think that Kevin O'Connell is obligated to do a post-game news conference after the game.
He is. All the coaches are.
Yeah, and then he's obligated to do a Wednesday news conference. The upcoming the next game coming up with local, and then the media, the opposition. So a lot of these guys are contractually obligated. I don't know if they are in the PGA Tour. I don't know
when they're contractually obligated, then I think those of us, we remember Bill Belichick and his 3-word answers when he was obligated.
Yes.
To answer questions after a game or during the middle of the week. He would just basically stare into space and
right. That was his way of.
Remember Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah,
at the big
I'm
game.
only here.
I'm only here because so I don't get fined.
That was the greatest line.
So
that was a beauty.
This text message says, "It's nice that Rosen thinks working with you is the pinnacle of his career," and I do appreciate that. I didn't realize you felt that. Didn't know you felt that strongly about working.
I really don't.
I think you can't wait for 3 o'clock to hit.
That's not true.
You're so much fun to work with.
Yeah.
And 10B, you're okay too. Did you know 10B is now...
What?
He's not the interim producer.
What is he?
He's not the bridge. He's the luxury producer.
What is that?
There was a list of players on ESPN that are luxury players. Like they were a luxury to have, and Josh Oliver's on that. He's getting paid a lot of money. Well, he's getting paid $23 million over 3 years.
Yeah, for a blocking tight end. Yeah.
And so he's a luxury. It's a luxury to have a blocking tight end. It's a luxury to have a producer like Tennessee.
Tanner, you said you had a Durant update. We never got to that.
We got plenty of time to get to that.
I know. I just want to make sure don't forget about it. Sometimes you forget about those things.
We're saving the best for last.
I don't think it's anything earth-shaking.
I had forgotten about it. Because I got to admit, he ain't coming here. It's not going to happen. He's going to play for Houston, or he's going to play, what's the other club that wants him?
San Antonio.
He's going to play for one of them. Now, again, I did see things where they're still saying Minnesota's still in the hunt.
They're still in the running.
I also saw something in the, I can tell you right now, it wasn't there a report that Anthony Edwards is not actively courting Durantula. He's not like calling him up and going, love to have you here, Durantula. He's not doing that.
I don't know if isn't he still under contract?
Well, yeah,
so I don't think that's not tampering.
But you could still do that behind the
scenes. You could text them. You can text them more than people know. There's ways of getting around it.
There's ways of getting around it.
Look, Durant, I'm sure knows that Ant would love to have him on the team.
That probably, yes.
I don't think he has to.
You're right.
Court him.
That's correct. Yeah. Let's take our final break and come back and talk about Durantula, and then talk about tonight's Game 6 of the NBA Finals. That's next here on The Fan.
And here we have a specimen from the early 2000s, a legacy investing platform. Please don't touch the exhibit, folks. It could crash.
Ready to step out of the financial history museum? At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. Well, I don't know about you, but I never liked being told, oh, wow, you look so good for your age. Why even bother saying that? Why don't you just say you look great at any age, every age? That's what Meaningful Beauty is all about. We create products that make you feel confident in your skin at the age you are now.
Meaningful Beauty. Beautiful skin at every age. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. I'm Common East Tennessee. Legendary Mark Rosen, his last day of the week here with us during the 2 o'clock hour. He will join us again. Will you be back?
I'll be back. Oh, yeah, I'll be back next week.
Okay, very good.
Monday, yep.
Tennessee, dirt on Durant, right?
It's time now.
Kevin Durant way outside. Delivers!
For the latest dish on Durant.
Can I give you two? One from this morning and then one from within the last 30 minutes?
Love it.
The one from this morning, Anthony Edwards apparently is not attempting to recruit his idol Kevin Durant to Minnesota. That's the word from ESPN's Marcus J. Spears, whose report has since been corroborated by fellow insider Brian Windhorst. Spears yesterday began his NBA today, saying, "Talked to some people close to Anthony Edwards. This is a non-story. He's in Atlanta working out. He loves his former teammate. He loves his current teammates. Some people close to me said he's focused on what's next with his team. And he's not flying to LA to try to convince KD anything differently." And then the most recent report from Sam Amick on the Kevin Durant trade saga. Amick says, quote, "The Suns clearly don't like what they're hearing from San Antonio, Houston, and Miami. Phoenix is almost trying to nudge him to Minnesota. We're a little ways away."
Well, the plot thickens.
Yeah, I think the comparison that's been made by others nationally was the Jimmy Butler situation that I don't think Golden State was his first choice, and that he had to be swayed to go there, to get the extension, et cetera, et cetera. And then he went, it's not a bad place to be. There's a lot of, behind the scenes politics going on. We haven't heard. Kevin Durant hasn't issued a direct statement. It's gone through different sources, and then these guys understand the landscape of it. But Phoenix is in a position of going, listen, we're going to make the best deal for us, not for you. and he's not in a position to do that. I mean, will he change his mind? I think we'll know I think Tuesday. The draft's Tuesday night. And I think that's kind of the line in the sand. I think decisions have to be made that night. But we'll see.
You think by Tuesday night Kevin Durant will be a member of the soon-to-be big game NBA World Champion?
I know. If you're
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yes or no? I'd probably say no. I mean, I mentioned, I don't know how many times I've had to repeat this. If he ends up getting traded here, as long as they don't have to give up Jaden McDaniels, which they wouldn't.
Would you trade McDaniels straight up for Durant?
No.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I probably would. But I just think keeping Jaden on this team, it would be, we know it would be Gobert and probably, potentially, DiVincenzo and or another piece. But Jaden would be untouchable at that point. So it's kind of a moot question because that's not even a discussion point because it would never come up. Jaden for Durant.
Would you trade Jaden for Bodega Cat?
What do you mean? Right? If he was on the Timberwolves?
Yeah. No, would you trade Jaden to get Bodega Cat?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, right now? Well, Carl's a better overall player. Come on. I mean, he's not the defensive player that Jaden is, and that we know that. I think and Towns took a lot of criticism even in the wake of Tibbs firing that, it seemed like he was the fall guy. Carl was the fall guy because he didn't play enough defense on that Iron Man team that Tibbs put on the floor for the Knicks that got him to the Eastern Conference Finals. But his salary is such, obviously, that's why the Timberwolves traded him.
Would you trade two Kevin Garnetts for one Al Jefferson?
Wow.
I always love
let me think about that. No.
I wouldn't either.
No. I don't know. I just have this been talked about ad nauseum right now, and I don't even know how the fan base feels right now. I think there's a segment of the fan base where going, man, this would be fun. Ant and Durant together with Jaden McDaniel and the rest of the crew. Nas stays here, but I hearken go back to the fact that they just it's screaming at me that they need a point guard that needs to run the show and score and Dillingham could develop into that guy.
Yeah, but
that's a couple years away.
If you've got Durant and Edwards,
you need
but how good of a point guard do you need? You just need somebody that's competent. I mean,
you need someone to facilitate, and play good defense.
So why can't you do both? Why can't you get Durant and then get a competent point guard?
Well,
you don't have to have the.
You could look at your team and say, I have one or two.
Right.
But,
you like this Dillingham kid a lot, I think.
Well, I will in maybe 2 years. I don't love him right now to play 82 games as a starting point guard. No, I don't. I don't think he's necessarily ready for that. But summer league will be a big thing, and the guy's got explosive speed and he's got a great game. Eye for the game. But he's real young. That's the problem with these guys that come out of school so fast, so young. You forget how old they are, and it's not like college football. You have to play. You don't have guys leaving college football after the freshman year because they're not allowed. Number one, but in college basketball, as we'll see on Tuesday night with the draft, most of those guys are one and done, and many of them just take. It takes 2-3 years to kind of figure it out. So I don't know. I just think they're going to go in a different direction. I think Connolly always has something up his sleeve, and I think he's got whatever his plan B is. I think he's probably getting pretty close to getting that done. I don't think they're going to stand pat. If that's the question. No, they're not going to just run it back.
Tonight, Game 6.
Yep.
NBA Finals. Team with the best record in the NBA during the regular season. Oklahoma City Thunder has a 3-2 lead over the Indiana Pacers. Game 6 tonight in Indiana. I think Halliburton's still questionable. He says he's going to give it a go. He's got a strained calf.
Yeah, but
your thoughts?
Well, Oklahoma City's only, I think, 5-4 on the road during this postseason, so they've had their struggles. I'm going to use that term. Indiana plays with a lot of heart, and I like the McCormick kid a lot. It's kind of the battle of reserves. Caruso is so good for OKC, and McCormick is really good for Indiana. And obviously Halliburton, if he plays, he didn't score any points last game. Didn't make any baskets. He's not going to be even close to 100%. But can he still play?
Is he playing coy?
I don't know.
Do you think maybe he is playing possum?
No, I do not think he's playing possum.
Pretending that
Sikkim has to have is that his name Sikkim? He's got to have like a big 25-point game. I think Indiana can absolutely hang in there. I mean, they do. They play with a lot of heart. Obviously, their season's on the line. They're playing at home. OKC's just been okay on the road this postseason. So I hope it's a really close game. Love to see it that way. I don't want to see a blowout. I don't want to see another a repeat of what happened in the Stanley Cup final the other night. I turned it off and put on the links. Well, I would have watched the links anyway. And by the way, quit saying that. I'm thrilled that I don't want Florida to win because I don't like Florida because it's like USA. What?
You don't like teams from the Sun Belt. You don't like hockey teams that are located in Florida.
I tip my cap to the entire organization. They have got it figured out down there, Tampa Bay and Florida. But let's not get confused with. Don't make this a wave the flag thing. Their captain, Barkov, if he was playing international hockey, what country do you think he'd be playing for?
I don't know.
Finland or Russia. His dad played for the Russian national team. So he just happens to be wearing the jersey of the Florida Panthers. That's it.
Why are you against teams from the Sun Belt?
Because I'm jealous.
Well, at least you admit it.
Yeah. And I'd like to see a Canadian team. They haven't won one since 93, and it doesn't matter if it's Edmonton or Montreal or Winnipeg. I would have liked to have seen a team at some point from Canada win the Cup, but it's not going to happen, and it probably won't happen for a while. I think they have got it figured out down there, and I think players are going to continue to want to go down there. Florida's got a machine going right now.
No tax helps.
Well, but as Russo said, they didn't have tax I don't know how many years ago, and they sucked for like a decade. So I don't know why did that change all of a sudden where the no tax thing became a point of conversation when they've had it all along. Right? I mean, how did that change?
Well, yeah, you're not going to want to go there when they're terrible, but once they start getting some pieces and there's something to work around, like, oh yeah, I'll go there.
I think the culture is more, I hate to use that word, but
what's their culture like? You got any idea?
Yeah, they all live in these beautiful homes. They can take golf carts over to the arena. That's what their culture is like in the middle.
Those ranches. They live off of what's
December.
That in Miami? It's called Rodeo Drive, I think.
No, that's not what it's called.
It's Rodeo Drive. It's where all the beautiful people are shopping.
I always love that one.
How do you not know these things? You're a world traveler.
I've been to Rodeo Drive. Never been to Rodeo Drive in Florida.
You're talking about the Rodeo Drive down in
Beverly Hills,
in Waco.
Yeah,
rodeo.
That's rodeo down there.
You're thinking Rodeo Drive is what you're thinking about.
You're like a wordsmith. You really are. Yeah, so I hope it's, I don't know, maybe it's wishful thinking. Finally, the winter sports season could end tonight, but maybe it won't. If not, they're waiting till what? Is Sunday night potentially games? That would be Game 7?
They've had like 2 days between each game.
Unbelievable.
These are important games.
Yeah. It's just...
You want to make sure you're well rested for them. Here's what it is.
I wonder why the NFL's got a stranglehold on
the league doesn't think the season's long enough.
Yeah.
They want to lengthen it.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah, it's hard to keep up.
When this season started, we were carving jack-o'-lanterns.
I know it.
Now we're going to be lighting off
fireworks.
Now we're going to be lighting off fireworks.
Yeah,
you're right. It's something. There's something inherently wrong about it.
It is, and the point Tennant's made too. The number of days they have between games, and I never get quite the explanation depending on the arena. If there's a, James Taylor concert or Pink or whomever is playing at that various arena that they've had booked for months and months and months, they're not going to move that, so they have to move the date of the next game an extra day. So. Sometimes that's the case. Otherwise, it's TV that does it.
Richie from Lake Elmo writes, why? Why do you want the Canadian team to win the Cup? What is the reasoning behind it?
Because I look at that as hockey is kind of their game, and it's not as if they've won a bunch. If they had won like the Canadians had won, and Oilers had won recently, or any of those teams, Winnipeg, I wouldn't care that much. But I just feel like, you know how much it means to them. I mean, pockets of people care about hockey in Florida, but not a lot. Not a lot
of snowbirds down there.
Yeah, and I'm just saying it. When you look at the passion and when you grow up with the sport literally in your backyard, it just feels like the tradition. I'm more of a traditionalist. Rocket Richard, Yvonne Cornway, Guy Lafleur, your favorite people.
Guy Lafleur.
Rocket
Richard.
Yeah. Toronto Maple Leafs, those traditional teams. Poor Toronto can't even get out of the first round. But I think there's something, I love the tradition, the idea of that. And it's just been heartbreaking, I'm sure, for them not to get a chance to win the cup. So that's all. I don't lose any sleep over it. I'm just, what now?
Durant coming to Minnesota?
No, Twins have snapped their 6-game losing streak. They have beaten the Cincinnati Reds 12-5.
They're on their way.
By the way, you got ripped again.
Of course I did.
People listen to what you say and they take notes.
Okay.
Here's this one.
You take notes.
Well, they must take notes because it's unbelievable what these. Here it is.
All right.
1 week ago, Rosen said, "quote The Twins are still in a great position to make a wild card." And then in parentheses says, "a week after the Pablo injury." 2 days later, Rosen's acting like the sky is falling for the Twins, and he can't remember saying, let alone salivating over the Herschel Walker trade as a Rube.
Well, first of all, the Twins situation, that hasn't changed all that much. They're still in the wild card chase. It doesn't mean they're playing good baseball. It doesn't mean they shouldn't make a move. You can look at it both ways. The idea of making a wild card isn't like, oh, great, they made a wild card. Yeah, you hope they're competitive and not fall off the face of the earth like they did a year ago in the month of September. I don't remember what I said about Herschel. I think I laid it out pretty well. We were not aware of how those draft picks. I mean, the players weren't even aware that it was players and draft picks. It was sort of like, oh, they did what? So when the trade was initially made, it was like, oh, they gave up Darren Nelson and Ike Holt and David Howard, and they got Herschel Walker. Great, but you can't visualize what those draft picks were going to turn into. And then they got him 3 years in a row, and then they handed the Dallas Cowboys, the Super Bowls because of that. Kudos to Jerry Jones for pulling that trade off. I probably did think it was going to be a good trade for Minnesota. But
so would Rosen rather see the Pacers win the NBA championship rather than the Wolves since Indiana's the basketball state?
No, it's a college basketball state. It's not a pro basketball state.
You're on your A game.
This is Hoosiers.
Defending them out.
This is Gene Hackman's Hoosiers.
They're coming at you from every angle, and you got an answer
Chitwood. I've never, ever thought of Indiana as an NBA state. It's a college and high school basketball bastion, not a pro basketball. And they are great fans there, but I'm just saying, no, not the same.
Why can't it be pro basketball?
It could, but it's not. It just has
because they haven't had good enough teams.
Well, that's probably why. I just don't feel they have the same passion.
So we can't be the state of hockey then, because our professional team hasn't been good enough.
Are we really the state of hockey? According to whom? Is that just
ourselves?
A slogan? Great. High school, yeah. High school hockey is great.
Wow, I've never heard you like this, turning on your own state.
No, I'm just saying it's like it's
Why
a
don't you
slogan.
just move to Canada? You don't like USA? You don't like Minnesota?
Who said I didn't like USA? I just mentioned the fact that you're the one that keeps chiding me about it. I'm going, well, geez, the best player on the Florida Panthers, their captain, is not even he's from his dad played for the Russian national team. Guess what? They're in the Olympics. What team is he playing for?
You could argue Kachuk's their best player.
Well, I'm just saying he's
American.
You're not answering my question.
Well, you said their best player, and I'm just saying, well, there's an argument who their best player is.
Fine, but their captain.
Yeah, correct. What did he say? I wasn't even listening. I like taking sides every once in a while.
You guys are amazing.
I got the Pacers, don't I? How much do I owe you now?
I don't know. $12, $13.
I thought, it's something like that. And now
you get some of it back on your.
Yeah, I know, but
on your Flow right about.
We got a bet on the series. This series, right?
I'm gonna. Well, yeah, I've got Pacers. You took.
I don't know how much.
I don't
$2,
remember.
$4. I don't know.
I think it might be $5 even.
Well, bring Bring those singles next Tuesday.
Yeah. Ugh.
Dig deep into that save the
Why
checking
did I take
account.
Indiana?
Why do you con him into taking Indiana for tonight's game to try to make your money back?
Hey, quit whispering.
Do you want Indiana
I can actually
tonight?
hear you.
You want Indiana tonight?
No, I do not.
I'll take Indiana tonight.
Okay.
No, I'm not joking. Without Halliburton, that's not doing
Without Halibut, yeah.
I just can't.
I hope it's a good. Like I said, I hope it's a good game.
Montreal Mark.
Montreal Mark.
Montreal Mark.
It's a great city.
Yeah. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk to you on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Terrific weekend.
At 2:00.
Yep.
Tenby, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
Yep, that's the luxury producer. Not making Josh Oliver money, but he's worth just as much in my book. We'll pause. Until tomorrow at 12 noon. But stick around. Big ticket. By the way, program password invitational championship match tomorrow. 1:30. Cove and JG against the Broads. They're back. So that'll be at 1:30. Big ticket. JG there next year on the Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Timberwolves superfan KFAN Stan Barrero.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
You know what's great about your investment account with the big guys? It's actually a time machine. Log in and zoom. Welcome back to 1999. It's time for an upgrade. At Public.com, you can invest in almost everything. Stocks, bonds, options, and more. You could even put your cash to work at an industry-leading 4.1% APY. Leave your clunky, outdated platform behind at Public.com. Go to Public.com and fund your account in 5 minutes or less. Paid for by Public Investing Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Full disclosures at Public.com/disclosures.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.